And welcome back to Bust Picks. It is episode 68. One away, Don. This is Donovan Behan. He's my co-host.
How we doing?
My name is Dio Reynoso. We've had a lot going on. The Thunder just won an NBA title for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the best Canadian basketball player of all time, Donovan?
Nope.
All right.
I'll give him top 5.
He deserves at least top 3.
Yeah, that's fine. Top 3's fair.
All right.
Top 3's fair. I still think Nash is better, but
yeah.
Shai still has a lot of career left.
I think it's not going to be hard for Shai to pass the legacy Nash left behind.
We'll see. I still think that Shai did not deserve the MVP.
I agree with
of
you.
the regular season.
I think it should have been Jokic, which is his own thing. Don, you got a fact for me today?
Fact of the day, we're going on a little deep dive here on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're in baseball season. So weird one. Pirates historically not the best team. We know that. But I was like, why? Like, what develops a bad baseball team, especially in a league where you have the Rays pop off once in a while. You just like everyone's still like casual fans still bring up Moneyball. Why teams don't do that? Some small markets
are still able to sustain and be consistent.
Compete.
Yeah.
So the last multi-year free agent signing the Pittsburgh Pirates did was Daniel Hudson in 2016, where they signed him to a 2-year, $11 million deal.
That's not even a crazy contract.
Not even a good contract. And then they traded him to Tampa in 2018. So only kept him for a single season. So even though they signed him to a year, they only signed him to multi-year. They only kept him for a year.
Okay.
So to me, that says not a multi-year free agent. The next coming down one was Ivan Nova in 2016. So we're talking almost a decade ago at this point. For a 3-year deal, but was left off on a lot of reporting when people cite this as being the last true multi-year signing, was that he was traded from the Yankees to the Pirates at the trade deadline the season prior. And then the Pirates at the end of the season signed him to that 3-year deal. So he was already on the roster, and 2 days after free agency started, they signed the extension.
I would say that's a re-sign.
I would call that a re-sign personally.
I would say that's a re-sign.
Like if you're only a free agent for 2 days and you're actively engaging in good faith negotiations still, you're a free agent.
Yeah.
You're not a free agent.
Yeah.
So beyond that, we fall down to Francisco Llanora, who did sign with the Pirates in 2015. Now we're talking a decade ago, and played multi-seasons with them for a 3-year, $39 million contract.
Okay, we're getting more reasonable contracts back then.
But again, signed the year prior and re-signed with the Pirates 1 month into free agency.
So the Pirates are signing these players on larger deals
after they've already been there,
Yeah.
and that's their free agent signing.
Gotcha. So they're never really making their team better.
They're never really signing a free agent.
Yeah.
So the last true, without that kind of weird free agency one, is early 2015. They signed a first baseman, Josh Josso, to a 2-year, $8 million deal. So next to nothing.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
That's almost nothing there. And he fell out of the league soon after that deal.
So they haven't signed another free agent that wasn't on their team the year before?
Since 2016, and they haven't signed a true free agent since 2015.
So they're just cycling through their farm system, continuing and hoping
a couple trades. That's all they're going through. Meanwhile, they have only made 11 winning seasons since 1980.
Yeah, I mean, they're pathetic.
7 since 1990. Bonds left the team in 1992. Since Barry Bonds left the Pirates, 3 winning seasons.
Yeah, I mean, that's Pirates baseball. They have
Yes.
one of the best pitchers in baseball right now in Paul Skeens, and they refuse to put anything around him. It really does feel like Paul Skeens is just being propped up to be an item that they're going to be able to trade to the Yankees or the Boston Red Sox or whatever team, decides to go and make a blockbuster trade for a bunch of pieces for him.
Essentially, and that's kind of where I was going with it, is like that's the reason small markets who do pop off look at their spending.
Yeah.
They're taking the shots. They're developing farm system. Pirates live to feed other teams' talent.
No, they're literally a farm system. It's those teams. Washington was kind of one of those teams for a long time.
Yep.
Everybody knows the Athletics are a farm team. The Angels are pretty much the Dodgers farm system at this point. It happens. What I don't want to happen, though, is to watch these fan bases just give up. I want Pittsburgh Pirates fans are really depressing.
Yes.
Have you ever talked to one? They're
No,
just
yeah, no, I know. I work with one.
Okay. They're like very much like, yeah, man, if we win like 70 this year, I'll be really happy.
And that's the part that's infuriating is you hear the hatred of the fans for the Athletics ownership with them purposely tanking and moving on. But it's the idea of being stuck there for so long. It's become apathy almost.
Oh yeah. It's the Detroit Lions method where you're just like, but for the Detroit Lions, you give them sympathy. You kind of feel bad for the fans.
Yes.
I don't feel bad. I do feel bad for the Pirates fans, but I'm also like, you know what you're doing.
That's kind of where I'm falling in,
Yeah.
is you're seeing like we know what the issue is. Like there's pure fundamental fact that like going back over a decade of what the issue with this team is.
Yeah, and it's the fact that they don't want to pony up.
And they don't want to pony up.
Yeah.
It's all purely for the financial. And like and I hate that as a fan.
Yeah, no,
like spend a little bit. Like it's not a difficult thing.
My football team just learned how to open up the pocketbook like this year. It was
That's
crazy.
true.
So I mean, I get it. It's some teams don't want to spend the money unless they feel like they have a window for winning right away.
But you'll never get that window unless you make moves.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh also probably isn't the biggest market. They probably don't make a ton of money, but it's revenue sharing. So
You have revenue share. You're okay.
Let's go into our first topic of the day. We're going to talk about some NBA offseason moves. I brought 3 to the table. Don's going to bring 3. We're just going to talk about some of the things that have happened in the last week, the first week of NBA offseason, and the draft happened. So I'm going to take the first team. I'm pretty sure you probably added this team to yours. It's my favorite team to talk about right now. It's the Denver Nuggets.
I do have this one listed as well.
Okay.
Maybe slightly different reasons.
Okay. I like what the Denver Nuggets did.
Same.
Yeah, okay. Losing MPJ, I'm an MPJ fan, but it was not working in Denver.
I actually applauded them for this move.
Yeah. Cam Johnson is a great player to add from Brooklyn. I think getting MPJ for him and a pick feels fair. I do think MPJ has real ability to become one of the top scorers, like wing scorers in the league. Not like elite, but like a top 40 player.
Well, so MPJ, he does shoot over 40% from 3. Like
Yeah,
he's a great deep ball, but he's only catch and shoot.
Yeah, that's all he does. He doesn't create.
He does not create off the ball. Cam, on the other side, shoots 39.2% from 3. So just literally 1.6, I think, is the differential between these guys from the 3-point. But he also drives. And he has a mid-range.
And he plays a little defense.
Something you're not getting in MPJ.
Never.
His contract is also $17 million less.
It's going to get them out of the second apron, which
Yes.
is really what Denver wanted to do.
That's massive.
And allowed them to sign Valanciunas on a vet minimum, who's going to be a huge addition for this team. Because now, when you're done playing against Jokic, you get thrown a Valanciunas who's just as gritty and tough to guard and like
the
annoying
dude's
to
a
guard.
beast.
And even though you only have to do it for 15 minutes a night, lock in those 15 minutes. He's going to give you hell.
They also got depth in their backcourt, Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. signings.
The Tim Hardaway Jr. signing was huge for me. I think he's going to do. I don't know if they're going to flex him into their starting lineup. I feel like he could.
He
maybe
might,
play.
like mid-season or injury dependent. He's going to be like an electric 6'7" off the bench there.
I would love him to come off the bench as like a 6-man to be like an electric jump start. I know we're supposed to hate Denver Nuggets as Laker fans.
I'm excited that they added depth. They finally get somebody around Jokic. In Jokic's 10 years, it's a well-known stat that came out at the end of the season. He hasn't had anybody on the team who's made an all-NBA team, an all-star team, or an all-defensive team in the 10 years he's been there.
And I don't think that stat's going to change this year.
I don't think it is, but it looks like they're finally going, we have some concerns now.
Let's give him a little bit more. We clearly have a generational player who's not showing any signs of slowing down. We have a clear 3-year window of him being in his prime. Let's go throw everything at the wall and try to get 2 championships. Because if Jokic can walk out of Denver at the end of his career and say, hey, I didn't win 7, but I got 2 in Denver, that's a legend.
That's impressive right there. And also shout out Jokic. His horse won over the weekend.
Shout out to
the horse
Jokic.
racing. Yeah.
Also came out today. He does not want to sign an extension this summer and waiting till next summer, which is kind of teasing this whole is Jokic going to be a Laker situation.
I don't want to buy into that whatsoever.
You don't want to buy into it yet.
I think he's more doing what Giannis is in the situation of let me see what the team does first.
Okay.
I don't know if he's looking at where he would go yet, but more what is this current situation going to be?
Speaking about Giannis, one of my other teams is the Bucks.
Okay.
I want to talk about the Bucks.
Sure.
I hate what they've done.
I don't disagree. I do touch on them a little bit with one of my teams
Gotcha.
due to a move that was made.
Okay, so let me just touch on the Bucks real quick then.
Please.
I understand keeping Giannis and trying to build around him. He's an elite player. He's one of the top 7 players that probably is untradeable. I think what as long as you have him, you feel like you have a window.
Yeah.
I think what you put around him in Turner, I'm not hating the Turner move, but continuing to keep Bobby Portis on the team under that contract feels detrimental to the team.
Yes, he's being way overpaid for what he's bringing to the current roster.
Cutting Dame, which I understood, but eating that salary cap for the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's rough.
So not only do you not have Dame, but you have to continuously pay him. I know he's not going to play next year, but the year after that, if you're not going to pay him, you might as well keep him on the roster.
Yeah, just have him ride.
Yeah, because now they're just burning money. And then on top of that, I kind of feel bad for Giannis, where I'm like, hey, I understand that loyalty is a big thing for you, but you just watched a player that you played with in Dame Lillard who was very loyal to his franchise and then clearly saw that they weren't able to put a team around him, and then he wasted his prime. And I don't want to say wasted his prime, but he didn't get to achieve the accomplishments he wanted to achieve in Portland. And he wasn't able to do it in Milwaukee, and it's looking like he's probably not going to be able to do it in his career. So I would hate for that same thing to happen to Giannis. I know he already has the MVP and the championship in Milwaukee, but winning 2 in the NBA gives you a different prestige than just having 1.
No, completely it does, especially if you're the guy leading it.
Yeah. Look, Gary Harris also got signed to the Bucks, and I know he's like a good 3-point shooter, and I know that they're like, hey, look, we are going to put shooters around Giannis a little bit, but if Gary Harris is your best option and re-signing Kevin Porter Jr., then I don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah,
I think
that's you're not adding a whole lot.
and I understand Bucks fans are lying to themselves, and they're like, well, the Celtics are going to be bad, and the Pacers are probably going to be bad this year because they lost all those players and they got hurt and all that stuff. You can kind of convince yourself that maybe you have a championship run in you. It's this year bust.
Yeah, this is all it is. And
Yeah.
Thank you for the segue with the Pacers there, because they're the team I want to discuss with this Bucks deal as well.
Okay.
I think they fumbled the bag completely this offseason.
They had to.
They didn't.
Okay.
So my big issue is with Miles Turner. Like,
You're a big Miles Turner guy. You've been
I
a
like Miles Turner.
guy. Yeah.
you had all the goodwill of, I would argue, if not the state, at least most of the NBA. You battled in the finals, clearly a team with a lot of talent. Star player goes down. Everyone understands, like, hey, it's hard without Halliburton leading the team. No one's blaming you for the loss in the finals. He's going to be out for a season. You know that with the nature of the injury.
1 full season.
1 full season. And everyone's going to look at, if you tank out next season, no one's going to blame the Pacers on that.
I think it's a good idea to tank for the Pacers and the Celtics so that way they can get picks, get under contracts, do a soft rebuild, and then immediately be ready to compete again.
Not a terrible plan.
It's kind of the plan in the NBA.
But no one would blame them if they perform poorly.
Yeah.
I think they burnt all that goodwill with how they handled this Miles Turner situation. Letting him walk for nothing.
Yeah, they didn't get anything.
Didn't get anything. If you're going to let him walk and you're going to be cold to him and everything, sign him and then trade him at midseason. Would not have been an issue. If you're going to already be an a-hole about it, you could have done that.
But the rumors about trading Miles Turner have been like a constant rumor in NBA circles for like 5-6 years now. They've been talking about trading Miles Turner for so long that I think they both got to a point with this contract dispute where they both came to an understanding where this year, no matter what, he was going to be a free agent. I think in a way that's better for him. I know they did lead him on by telling him that they were going to sign him.
They were giving him offers.
Yeah.
They were lowballing him.
Yeah.
So he signed in Milwaukee, averaged $27.5 million a year.
I don't think he's worth that.
Indiana was offering him 22.
I think that's what he's worth.
If Indiana ponied up, and their big reason why afterwards they claim that they didn't is because of luxury tax.
I mean, the second apron and the luxury tax.
They would have been first apron.
I hear you, but from there it goes like incrementally more. And
it would have been
more,
$20 million at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's Indiana. Without Halliburton, they're not going to have the funds to pay that.
But you could move other players during the season. You have until the end of the year to get under salary cap.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do it right now. You have the entire season to do it. You could have made some moves in the middle of the season. Bring back the hometown boy who's been loyal and been a soldier for years.
Yeah.
And
He's
then,
been there through the bad days.
Exactly. And to me, what completely fumbled the situation, like it was already a bad situation, but like you said, there's rumors, so the breakup kind of made sense, was earlier today, the president of Indiana Pacer basketball operations came out and said he didn't know that Miles Turner was going to walk and sign somewhere else until it came out in the national media.
Damn.
He thought that his instructions were to the team where, like, this is what he's reporting. He's coming out and saying, re-sign him.
No matter what.
Yeah, get this guy back on board.
So now this GM, whoever he is now probably on the hot seat.
They either they made decisions and overthrew the president of basketball operations, or the president of basketball operations just left their GM out to dry after a finals appearance. That front office is now a mess.
It's Indiana baseball or Indiana basketball right there, man.
That to me is why this has just been like the biggest fumble. Is because you had all the goodwill. If you moved on from Turner, there would have been some sour grapes. But it still would have been, but remember last season.
The Pacers they're going to live for the next 20 years off of what they did this postseason.
But seeing the fall so quickly,
it's going to happen.
Like this isn't. I've never seen a front. It's incredible seeing the front office turn on each other a month later.
Oh yeah,
weeks later.
Just the way it happened. If they end up winning that game, Tyrese Halliburton never turned. It was all bad.
Yeah,
like everything that happened to them from the second he goes down. They immediately were like, oh, we're in the worst timeline. Like, it can't get worse than what it's happening now. All you can do as an Indiana Pacers fan is rewatch highlights of whatever happened last year because...
That's all you're going to get now.
Correct. For the next 4 years, you're going to be in a tough spot. And it's not because you lost Miles Turner. It's because your organization, just like a lot of things in Indianapolis, are very dysfunctional. And all you can do is hold on tight.
Like, you cannot believe in this organization to make correct moves anymore.
No, I mean, I don't think you ever could. They're the Indiana Pacers.
But to me, this shows they can't even luck into the situation correctly.
No, never. Indiana Pacers are not lucky. Don, you got another team?
My other team is, I want to talk about the Hawks move. Okay. Stealing draft night, in my opinion, with that Pelicans trade. How the Pelicans trade away their 2026 unprotected first round draft pick in exchange for moving up 10 spots.
Okay.
First off, terrible move. Just on paper, awful move.
Maybe. Moving up 10 spots for a player that they really liked.
Moving up 10 spots for a player that was already on the board when they've made their first pick.
Yeah.
And then didn't get him, came back around to try to go get him. But a team that is built on the health of Zion Williams.
I mean, the Pelicans are bad.
They're giving away arguably, if the Pelicans bottom out like most teams are saying, top 5, top 7 pick. Maybe it's a lottery. It's a lottery shot.
Yeah, but I think they own their picks this year. So yeah,
going into 2026 unprotected.
Sick. So now they don't have that for 20.
Or it's because the way the deal was structured, it came out after the draft. It was the highest of the 2 first round picks they have. So that means it's either their first round pick unprotected or the first round pick they got from Milwaukee.
The Pelicans are dead. The NBA is never going to rig them for another first overall pick ever again.
They're cooked. Yeah. If Giannis leaves, like everyone's saying, and Milwaukee dies, there's a shot the Hawks have 2 lottery picks going into next season, and they get whichever one's the higher option.
That'd be huge.
To move up 10 spots to go get a guy that they got passed over in the beginning anyway by the Pelicans.
What if that guy balls out? What if that guy's
Queen becomes... If Queen play...
It's Derek Queen, right?
It's Derek Queen.
Who's a really good power forward.
Great power forward. He now has to outperform, I would say, the bottom half of the first round.
Okay.
And whoever gets picked next year. That's the only way the Pelicans win this trade. He's a very good basketball player, but that's all the expectation put on this kid now.
I like Derek Queen a lot. I thought he was a steal of a draft. I really thought that was a good ad. But yeah, the Pelicans have been making brain-scratching moves for years now.
Reportedly, the Atlanta Hawks, like this came out afterwards, was the the bullpen that was in charge of taking the phone calls, managing trades, hung up the first time because they thought it was a joke.
That's awesome.
And the Pelicans had to call back and insist on the deal. When a GM says, no, that's not even a real offer. That's funny. Haha, we're busy.
Yeah, man, we're doing this.
And they call back like, no, we really want this.
Oh, no, yeah, press.
You hit accept at anything. You know that they're desperate.
I guess, man, I'll take your stupid trade.
And on top of that, getting Nickeil Alexander-Walker, winning the sweepstakes there.
Yeah, and they got Porzingis.
They got Porzingis by dumping Terrence Mann's contract.
Yeah, which is a huge contract to get away from.
3-year deal, multi-millions. Instead, you get a 1-year rental on Porzingis. If he's not good, fine, it's a 1-year rental.
Yeah, and then you still have your picks from next year.
And you have your pick for next year.
Yeah.
You have this pick for next year. They just got their rebuild done. Give it 2 years, and this team is already like reloaded.
Look, I think the Hawks need a little bit more firepower, but there is a world where I could see them being the surprise team in the East.
If they hit 2 of their draft picks in the next 3 years,
I think the window for the East is this year. I think in the next 2 years, the East is going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say better than the West because the West is
always
ahead of everything. But there is a surprise team in the East that I do think is going to make a huge run. It's the last team I want to talk about.
Sure.
It's the Detroit Pistons. I loved what they did. Yes, they lost Tim Hardaway Jr., which is sad.
Yes.
But what they were able to add in signing two 3-and-D players. You know my 3-and-D players. I love them. Duncan Robinson and Chris LeVert from the Cavaliers, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. You add them to an already offense that can make big moves with Cade Cunningham taking the next big steps. I do think their defense is taking a little bit of a hit, but where the Detroit Pistons are, they play gnarly, they play tough. They're exactly what the Detroit Pistons need to be. I really do think this is a team that could be a 3rd seed in the East next year.
Yeah.
Third or second team. I really love everything they're doing.
We knew that season 2 years ago was just a complete fluke. Like them bottoming out that way, it was an intentional tank in my mind.
Yeah.
Like 100%. There's no other way they could have. They've went almost the entire season without winning a home game.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think
happen.
tanking was part of it, but I also think look, they were going through a lot. Malik Beasley's also they're getting investigated for him
for gambling reasons.
Yeah,
I don't hate Malik Beasley's court case. I don't know if you've read into this that much.
I've heard a little bit about it where they're like he wasn't. There was a bunch of sufficient evidence that was like, hey, this guy was clearly throwing it and yelling at teammates and apparently would celebrate when they would lose and barely cover the spread and stuff.
No, that was... So they've gone back and they're able to see where the heaviest bets were placed on things. Like, that kind of lines up. So fans have done a lot of research.
Yeah.
Apparently the majority of the heavy line movements during Pistons games during last season that occurred right before games, which is the estimated timeline, were all on Beasley props on the overs. So he was betting money
on himself to be
on himself to go over the prop lines for Vegas.
Bet on yourself. They tell you that every day in practice. Bet on yourself.
I think that should be legal. If you're going to bet, your own sport, you bet on yourself to do better than Vegas is expecting.
I think you have, but but at what point is it dangerous to you?
Oh no, it's dangerous. I'm being purely purely hyperbole right now.
Okay, then yeah.
If
you're allowed to do it, then you should be
the idea that then the big one that keyed a lot of teams off was, I don't know if you remember, it was towards the end of last season, blowout. Pistons are just they're cooked. I think it was against the Celtics game, and he just sprints the ball up and dunks to cover the spread and hit his points over.
That's what people were saying.
6 seconds left.
I think if they are allowed to bet, they have to only bet alternate lines that are extreme. So, all right, Malik Beasley's damn, I know my regular line's at 3 3-pointers this game, but for me, I have to bet it at 6, but it is a plus 300.
Reportedly, that is some of the bets he took.
Okay, that's awesome. Then.
He was betting 6, 7 threes on a 3.5 over.
Baller. Other than that, those are all the teams I wanted to talk about in the NBA offseason move. Don, you got anything? That was it.
Speaking we'll move into bust of the week. I was going to stick with basketball a little bit.
Give me 30 seconds.
Yes, give me it.
Give me 30 seconds to just say the Lakers made some moves. Give me 30 seconds.
I'm very hesitant on the moves they've made.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yes,
I like DeAndre.
I'm not mad.
We got the center.
It's hard to get excited over a player whose previous team paid him $25 million to no longer be on the roster.
I think a lot of Laker fans are celebrating the DeAndre Ayton signing without really knowing who DeAndre Ayton is.
Go back and watch some old Suns tape. He's good. He is talented.
He's fine. He's good.
That's all you're getting. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the level. He's not a supermax guy.
No.
It did not work out when he did get that contract once.
No.
He is not that guy. He's, I would say, a better shooting Miles Turner. Not as good as defense.
Shooter. I would say different. I would say he's trying to be a better rim protector. He's
trying to be.
He's not a great shooter. He's a good rebounder.
Yeah.
And he hustles, but like in terms of pure skill of a basketball player,
it's just not.
He doesn't have a lot of skill.
He has okay post moves. That's more what I should say instead of shooter. Turner has a better mid range.
I don't know how he's going to fit in this Lakers offense.
I don't understand it. And to me, you could tell the Lakers are on a 1 year prove it. Like they've imposed that on themselves.
Yeah.
LeBron did not sign an extension. First time in his career. He took a player option instead.
It's coming down.
Finley's on a 1 year.
Dorian Finney-Smith signed with the Rockets.
Yeah, so they didn't go after him. Like he was on the 1 year at the end of the year. Didn't re-sign him. Not building for the future there.
Yeah, we're talking about signing maybe Al Horford.
Yeah, Austin Reeves is not taking an extension at the end of this. Not taking any extensions right now.
Apparently, he wants to get paid top dollar about like 20, 30, or like 35 a year, something like that. And he's
just not that. But he deserves a paycheck for sure.
Dude,
But you have
Utah. Go play over there. Or
I'm
Texas
just saying,
or Oklahoma
when
City.
the majority of the team that was there last season will not be here this season. It feel like LeBron, we don't know. Reeves, we don't know. Finley's gone. All you got is Luka. It feels like they're going to clean house and build around Luka next year.
Is that so bad?
No, not at all.
We still have our picks for 2029.
You just have to set expectations. Fans are with the 8 and there's like, this is finally going to get us over the hump. I'm like, this is a temporary deal.
No,
it's not even going all in.
The West is so good. I think this is the last year of like the Buss administration, and because they did sell, I think we're officially going to enter the new era of the Lakers starting next year.
Yeah.
I think this is the finale of like the LeBron Lakers. Whether you like it or didn't, it was a long journey. It's damn near 10 years. It's been 9 years of the LeBron era in Los Angeles.
It really has. Wow.
It's to me, I love it. I'm excited for this year. I think right now, if you made me rank it, I'd say we're probably the 7th best team in the West.
Yeah, I was saying 6, but so right there.
Yeah, I would say Denver, Oklahoma City, Houston. That's Minnesota. I would say is better.
I would say San Antonio's better.
I mean. No, I wouldn't say San Antonio's better. They haven't been able to get into the wild card game in 4 years.
Wemby going down with that injury just kind of collapsed the entire team last year. I think that I think the Spurs could crack top 5 this year.
Everything needs to go right for them. Everything.
A lot needs to go right.
It's just Wemby. They don't have another superstar player.
No, but they have a lot of guys who...
Good guys.
Yeah, they have a lot of strong players, a lot of role players. That's why I won't go over like top 3.
5, yeah.
But like 4 or 5 feels, yeah, they could do it.
Yeah, I like that. Let's get into Bust of the Week, Don. We're back on basketball. Go into it.
No, I was going to say the WNBA. That's been a big issue in the recent weeks, mainly due to Caitlin Clark. I know there's been some other concerns here and there.
The Caitlin Clark thing is huge, though.
The fact that she is taking multiple hard fouls a game.
Yeah, going after her.
The other players going after her, and the refs are still calling them as just normal fouls. And the league has done nothing to step up and protect her.
She's missed a lot of games.
She's missed a lot of games. And I'm not trying to be I'm not the biggest Caitlin Clark fan. I mean, she is a great player. I respect her.
Yeah,
100%.
but you're not, there's some sickos out there for Caitlin Clark.
Exactly. I'm not trying to be a stan.
Yeah.
I'm still LA Sparks. That's we've gone to games.
Cameron Brink, that's our queen.
That's our girl. That being said, if she is the most profitable player for the league
by a mile,
yes, every Caitlin Clark game tickets are over double from the rest of the league average. Highest selling jersey in the entire league. Yeah, and you're not doing anything as an organization to protect your nest egg.
The Chicago Sky was selling out the Chicago Bulls stadium for the Caitlin Clark rematch with I forgot her name, Reese. Angela Reese. And because she's going to be out, they're now selling those tickets for $26.
Exactly.
It's crazy. You can get hardwood for $700.
So the idea that you're not doing anything to protect her whatsoever, and if anything, the league has made it pretty clear it's open season on her.
Oh yeah, go after her. Hit her. Check her.
I just think that's terrible. Like you are,
it's bad.
It's a bad and now they're trying to bring in Halliburton to all these Indiana games.
Yeah, I feel like Halliburton signed a lot of contracts before the season ended last year, and he's got it. Like he did a WWE appearance. He has to, but I don't know, man. That guy's got to rest his leg. I'm more worried about him. I love him so much.
But it feels like they're trying to bring him in. Like, hey, Indiana still has some people. Look who's in the stands, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know if he's there for contracts. I don't know if he's there because he's supporting the team. Because I know there are certain NBA players
He's a big media guy. He wants to be in the media.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I have a bust of the week, and it's disappointing. This past weekend was 4th of July. We were supposed to celebrate our country, the United States. And you know what I did Sunday? I sat down. I was like, I'm going to watch the sport my country is playing against another country in soccer. They're playing Mexico in a big soccer match for qualifications for the World Cup. And I love Mexico. I'm a Mexican guy. But I wanted to watch this good soccer game. I've been told so much for 3-4 years now that this U.S. soccer team is going to be the one to do it. This is the generation of generations.
Wrong gender. U.S. women's soccer is the greatest.
Correct.
No, I know they're hyping up men's right now. I'm just trying to crack a joke on how bad the men's has been historically.
Look, if we counted like real World Cups, which is the women's World Cups, we're the best soccer nation in the world.
Yeah.
If we just counted it like that, but those other countries love to downplay women's sports. Not us. We love them. U.S. lost 2-1 to Mexico, which is a lot of things, but overall, it's very disappointing from the U.S. to consistently go and play against your neighbors and consistently lose to them on the biggest stage. It's almost too telling to where these teams are headed. I'm really disappointed for what the future holds for a World Cup in America in a few years with this American team. I do think we're going to get put in a really tough region with like Germany or Belgium or Spain.
Oh, they'll get their teeth kicked in.
And we're going to get our teeth kicked in, but we're going to try to sell ourselves. I need you guys to remember this moment. We couldn't beat Mexico, and people were saying this is one of the worst Mexican teams to ever be put on a pitch. That's the level of sadness I need America fans to start wrapping their head around.
Do you mind if I twist the knife just a little bit?
Oh, yeah, twist it even harder.
Is this the second embarrassing loss for the U.S. in international play this year?
It is. It is. I would say this one is more embarrassing than the Four-Nation face-off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were favored going into that final game.
They were favored into this game, too.
So the U.S. internationally cannot be a favorite for them to win. Is that the narrative for 2025?
If we want to go even further, in 2024, America lost to Japan in the World Baseball Classic.
I remember that, which is hilarious.
Which is setting us up to maybe be... What's the most embarrassing sports thing that can happen in America? I'll answer it for you.
Sure.
It's us losing in flag football in the Olympics.
Oh, I was even going to go further than that.
What?
We should bring in some international drivers to NASCAR.
Oh, look, everyone in NASCAR knows if the Europeans wanted to come over, they'd eat us alive.
It'd be very interesting considering it's already happening in IndyCar.
That's what I'm saying. They're eating us alive.
If the U.S. loses in flag football, which there's already drama with those teams, which I cannot wait to get into.
That's going to be its own thing.
That's going to be I want to do like 20-minute segment just breaking down the U.S.
drama.
flag football versus the NFL players and how these guys are creating their own beef.
No, it's going to be awesome. The quarterback for the flag football team is like talking about how he's a better football player than Patrick Mahomes at flag football, which technically is right.
We haven't seen Mahomes play flag football.
He's also
like that.
5'6", so I just don't know if he is better.
I would
love to see him get signed by like another team, and then him being able to show like step up, like show how good he is.
Vice versa. I want to see Patrick Mahomes take a week or two, go play in the flag league.
Yeah,
and I want to see the comparison.
Would you be mad if Lamar was the official quarterback?
Oh, I'd be livid.
Yeah,
Lamar should not step foot on that field.
Is there a better flag football player than Lamar Jackson in the world?
No, there is not. He will do everything, but
think
for the
about
sake of
your
injury,
quarterback would be the first quarterback to have a gold medal.
I don't care.
That's more impressive. That's at least one Super Bowl.
I want to protect his health. There's no reason to take the extra injury risk.
Yeah, I know.
Like that, like we're talking up, like everyone keeps talking up that team to be like Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb on the other side. And it's like, no, we'll get like Noah Brown
I would much rather just send our like 5-star high schoolers.
Send in the college. No, send in the NIL college guys.
Nah. Some of those guys suck.
Send in like a Fresno State.
No, we're not saying Jake Hayner to go play.
There we go.
No, I'm not doing
Bring
that.
Fitzpatrick out of retirement.
If we lose the flag football game or like championship gold, we don't get it in our own Olympics. It will shatter my perception of football entirely. Like bad. Like it'll be a bad day.
It's going to be a rough one.
Hall of Famer of the week. There's only one Hall of Famer of the week when it's July 4th. It's the king of all kings. It's Joey Chestnut. 70 hot dogs.
Hit the under.
By a dog and a half.
By a dog and a half at the under.
But still won by over 15 dogs. So like the goat of all goats, 16-time Nathan's hot dog eating championship on 4th of July. He is the undisputed greatest athlete of all time. Shout out to him. You're a Hall of Famer of the week.
For me, I'm dipping back to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Something that was covered a little bit, made some media noise a few years ago, but one that I don't know how much it got out there was the tie between July 2nd through 5th, which for those of you who don't know, and I've only found this out recently, is Anthrocon in the city of Pittsburgh.
What?
Which is the largest national convention for furries, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and how those two things are now connected.
How are they connected?
So, starting in...
Give me a second. Furries are a group of people that like to dress up like live action mascots and
they express sides of their personalities through
costume.
Being animals.
Correct.
Yes.
And if you do any sort of digging for about, 40 minutes, you'll be able to quickly realize what those communities are really about.
I will say not all of it. I will add the disclaimer.
Feels like it always leads to that.
But a lot of it does lead that direction, and please viewer discretion advised on anything you look up with furries.
Definitely. Continue.
So, Anthrocon has been the largest United States. I've done way too much research into this just because of this weird little tie-in that I found to Andrew McCutcheon specifically.
Okay. You aired him out so quick.
Well, no, because he's talked about this, which is crazy. So in 2018, Andrew McCutcheon, still in the Pittsburgh Pirates, during his amazing first run with them, and he lived in downtown Pittsburgh. He's talked about this on multiple podcasts, done interviews about this, that he's lived in the area. And when as he was discussing, driving down the street and on a corner, he just saw someone in one of the costumes and just tweeted out the word furries. No context, just the single word furries.
He didn't realize what he did to himself.
Since then, every single year when Anthrocon is in Pittsburgh, he tweets the word furries, different ways now. Since 2018. So for 7 years, even when he was on the Brewers, he was doing this. For 7 years, he tweets out the word furries.
Love that.
Every July 2nd. His stat line whenever Pittsburgh plays a home game during those 3 days, he averages 419 at bat.
Shut up.
479 slugging and 742 OPS.
He's the furry king.
He's the furry king.
I love that.
He had a game in 2015 with a double, 2 RBIs, and a homer. He had a walk-off homer in 2015. In 2014, the day that he tweeted furries, hit a home run.
Look, put it on the calendar. Next year, July 2nd, we got to look at the McCutcheon furry tweet.
It has cooled. I will say that has cooled slightly in the last year and a half.
Okay.
He only played 1 game this year in July 2nd.
Damn.
Went 1 for 3 at bat. Got a single and a walk, which is not bad.
Still going to bet on
Still fine. Last season played one game, didn't have the best, but 89 plate appearances. This guy's nearly hitting 50% since tweeting the word furries in 2018.
I love that.
To the point, the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates reportedly was too embarrassed to ask the coaches and players 2 years ago. Too embarrassed to ask coaches and players, asked his 12-year-old daughter, what are furries? And now they market during this time.
Shout out to Pittsburgh.
Because there are furries who show up to the games
In
wearing
suits?
McCutcheon jerseys.
I love that.
Full costume, full McCutcheon outfits, and do parades around the stadium during Anthrocon weekend.
Pittsburgh gets a lot of flack for the type of town they are. They care about sports
to a crazy level.
To the best level. Like they are what you want to be as a fan.
Yes.
They are a small market team. All their teams are the exact same color schemes. All their teams carry the exact same type of grit and grind across all their sports franchises. And they're all fun to watch when they're really good.
And it's apparently the Pirates, like we talked about at the top of the show, not the best.
No, they're always bad.
But somehow during the week of July, 2nd to the 5th, every year, they have magic.
I got to tell you right now, I got to tweet out furries every single time on July 2nd now.
It's amazing. And like how he does it too now at this point, because it's a known thing that like in Pittsburgh, he changes up the fonts. He does all the like he gets more. It's not just like set to a timer. Like he obviously spends time with this now. McCutcheon is now
the furry king.
The furry king.
Love it. Let's get into NFL divisional breakdowns. We're going to go into the NFC East. We're going to take about 5 minutes on each team, tell you our general vibe, what we like about this team going into the 2025 season, and giving you a general record of what we feel like that team's going to go. Don't hold us to the record. Just this is the vibe that we feel going into the season. I'm going to start at the top of the division, the Philadelphia Eagles, the returning Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Don, do you have them winning their division?
I have them winning their division. I think they take a slight step back from what we saw last season.
I think that's fair. I mean, they had an immaculate season.
Yeah, they did. And I'll get out the bad stuff first, just to get to the positive at the end. He had 436 carries over 20 games last season.
It's going to be hard to replicate that.
It was the highest the NFL has seen since 2014 DeMarco Murray. That is not an easy number to replicate.
That was a good DeMarco Murray year.
That was a great DeMarco Murray year. That's a lot of wear and tear on an older body. That is a concern. C.J. Gardner-Johnson traded. Darius Slay released. Avante Maddox traded. Now signed with Detroit.
I have that written down where I'm like, I don't love that secondary right now.
There's some hope there a little bit, and then their schedule's obviously harder, but that's across the division. Eagles play the hardest schedule, preseason projections and such. Hardest schedule in the NFL this season. The entire NFC East plays, I think, one of the top 5 most difficult schedules of a division.
Yeah, I mean, when I was going through their schedules, I was like, damn, they go through some gauntlets.
Yeah.
But they are not a weak team.
No, without a doubt.
They're still going to be offensively there.
Well, and they have a first-time offensive coordinator who might be play calling.
I think it's going to be Stefanski still. Or not Stefanski. Man, how did I just forget his name?
But we'll see how that compares a little bit. Like there is that concern, though, of a first-time OC.
Yeah. They kept Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. I think that defensive line is really, really good. They added Javon Kinlaw, who's going to be a massive piece on the inside.
He will be. Ojamaru is finally going to get a start at DT.
Yeah.
Last season, his 31 pressures was 4th in the league. He was rated in the PFF top 40 at his position and was coming off the bench.
They also signed Najari, the defensive end from New York, so he's going to hopped over rivals with Saquon. He's a good pass rusher. I just don't feel like he was ever really developed. I think he's going to be really, really good in this Philadelphia scheme. I don't love the linebackers in Philly. I understand that they played outside of their minds last year. I think they're going to regress this year.
They're still, I think, arguably the most talented roster in the NFL.
I think the Ravens might be the most talented roster in the NFL.
That's why I said arguably. There's a few teams that could be in that conversation. Even with these changes, Eagles are still up there.
Yeah, right now I have them at a ceiling of 14-3, pretty much replicating what they did last year.
Yeah.
And a floor, I think at worst, of course, if the injuries get to them, anything's possible. But right now I think their floor is around a 10-7 season.
Yeah, I have them at 13-4 right now is kind of my projection at the moment. But
I think anything
around
less
there
than getting through the second round of the playoffs is a disappointment. I don't think you got to make another NFC championship game, but getting at least to the second round is a must for them.
Yeah, get to the divisional and you'll be set.
The next team I'm going to talk about, I'm guessing it's yours also, the Commanders.
Number 2, I have them going 12-5.
I'm a little low on the Commanders this year.
I like the moves they've made.
You like Deebo Samuel?
I think it is. Well, okay.
You like Deebo Samuel and not signing Terry McLaurin?
I think they need to re-sign Terry. They have all season to do it. They could still get a deal done.
He's not at camp.
He's not at camp right now.
He says he has no intentions of showing up to camp without a new deal.
They'll get him one. I'm not doubting that. I think the Debo move, very low risk, very high reward. Mm-hmm. Who is he replacing? Olivier Zacharias.
No, the other guy, Byard, Calvin Byard. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like that's fine. Like it's yes, Debo. If he could do 50%.
Yeah, but they're still running out there with like old Zach Ertz.
They have Ben Sennett behind him.
They didn't run like a great, like they didn't add great running backs to that roster.
I don't think they needed. Brian Robinson is on a contract year.
But he's
4.6 yards a carry through week 9 last year.
But he's not explosive.
He's not explosive.
He gives you 4 yards, and that's what he gives you.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs to be explosive because
you
you have Jalen Daniels who will do that for you.
I think Jalen Daniels is going to hit a wall this year. I think that
sophomore slump is a thing sometimes.
Correct. I don't think this defense is great. I think they're good. I think Dan Quinn will be able to make the most of what he has. But I think when I look at this roster, I get a little scared. I think there's clear holes. There was clear holes last year.
Yeah.
But last year was a magical run. It's hard for me to go back and be like, yeah, Washington's going to be a really good team consistently for the next few years just because they might have figured out the quarterback position.
No, but the idea that they've added a lot of depth to the trenches, like they've bolstered up that defensive line dramatically because they were one of the worst run defenses last season.
Yeah, it was a point of contention for them where they really wanted to add to it. Mm-hmm. They need to learn how to stop the run. They weren't able to do it last year.
No, and they went and got guys for that purpose.
Yeah,
Lattimore's finally healthy.
Yeah.
You have, who was playing across from him, Amos is going to be the number 2.
Pretty good.
Who's pretty good. So that secondary is getting improved from last year. The defense is taking a step up, even if the offense stagnates or slightly regresses.
I think
the defense is now there.
I think their ceiling is 12-5.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that's their absolute best. But what I really do feel like they're going to hit their floor at around 8 and 9. I think they're going to be like a more disappointing team only because they have a way tougher schedule.
Yeah.
They have to travel a lot more this year. And I do think putting the tape on this team, I've seen what Cliff Kingsbury's offenses can do. Yes, it gets really impressive, but it gets really one note really quickly.
Yes, he needs to make sure that team stays balanced.
And in an NFC that I think is definitely going to get better, I think they're going to get figured out a little bit more. I really do think this team finishes more around a 9-8, 10-win season.
I think they could still have a wild card run.
I think they're probably going to make a wild card, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's get into the next team. Don, who do you have finishing third in this division?
I have the Cowboys.
Okay, cool.
By the skin of their teeth.
Really?
7 and 10.
Okay, I have them floor 7 and 10.
That's where I think we'll end up.
I have their high 9 and 8 though.
Okay, I think their line is
swings.
7.5 right now. Their Vegas line.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
That feels about right.
Number one line.
They have the opportunity to be one of the most explosive passing offenses in the league.
Do they?
CD, Pickens, Ferguson. Great.
I think they have a good vertical passing game.
Yeah.
They don't throw the ball vertical anymore.
They don't.
Well,
CD could get the underneath stuff still.
Yeah. But George is going to be fighting for passes, and Ferguson's really good. They don't really have a run game. They lose Zach Martin. There's a lot of stuff on that offense. That is the big part of that team.
That's the issue. That's all they got. It's just that. And that's assuming CD and Pickens don't start fighting each other.
Correct.
Or fighting other people.
Yeah.
Their running back room was Zeke and Rico Dowdle last season. Now it's Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Blue that they just drafted.
Jaden Blue, Texas.
I think we're going to get a repeat of Zeke, but just in a different form this year of just an older, plodding running back who's just going to get hit in the mouth every single drive until week 10 when they finally go, give the young guy a shot.
I think what we're going to get is the exact same Dallas Cowboys team that we always get, an inconsistent team, a defense that 1 week will show you, hey, we're one of the best defenses in the league. Check out our corners. They caught 2 pick sixes on you. Micah Parsons is unblockable. And then 2 weeks later, immediately be like, wait, who is Micah Parsons even playing on this?
That's the concern. He's due for an extension this
100%.
year. A record-breaking, game-setting.
Yeah. He's gonna make quarterback money.
I don't think they sign him.
I don't think they can.
I don't think they could afford it.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to have to trade him. If they want to get any value, they have to deal him at the
They
line.
can franchise tag him and then keep him for like 30 a year.
You think that he stays? Like, you think that he doesn't hold out?
I mean, the NFL's its own thing.
The NFL's his whole thing, but if he holds out or shows any rumbling, if I'm Dallas and I know I can't re-sign him, deal him. There's no added benefit to holding on to him. Yes, your defense collapses, but you don't have a shot at winning anything right now anyway.
Do you think out of all the teams in this division, which team do you think has the most ability to surprise you? I think it is, for me, the Dallas Cowboys.
I could be completely wrong. This offense hums and the defense shows what it did a few years ago, but I just can't see. There's no balance to the offense. You have liability personality-wise at receiver with George Pickens.
Yeah.
And your defense, I don't know. Like you're missing a few guys still, and I don't know how you keep Parsons till the end of the year.
Can we ever talk about Dak? Are we at the point where Dak is no longer a top 16 quarterback in the league? Are we at the point where I understand we're paying $60 million for Dak, and I understand that when Dak is really good, like when he's on his stuff, he's a very good quarterback. Like he's a good quarterback. He's the best a game manager can probably get.
Yes.
Well, no, that's Tom Brady, but like he's a good game manager.
I'm just trying to mentally run through all the quarterbacks.
Do you want to play the game?
Sure.
Okay. Don, let's play. Who would you rather? Dak Prescott edition. Going into this next year, who would you rather have? Dak Prescott or Jordan Love?
Love.
Okay. Don, who would you rather have? Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott?
That's a good line.
They have the same teams in this situation.
I would say Brock. Yeah, he doesn't have the injury risk and he has a little bit more mobility.
I would also take Brock Purdy. Joe Flacco for the.
I hate you.
I'm just asking.
We're
just setting the line.
No, Dak, obvious. Like, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Dak.
Okay. Justin Fields.
Dak.
There's no way that you thought that long.
Yeah, I did.
You like Justin Fields like that, though.
I don't like Justin Fields like that. I think he just brings better upside to an offense.
Dak Prescott or Tua Tagovailoa?
Dak.
Okay.
Just because I'm scared to see Tua every week. Like, I cannot watch Tua games anymore.
Last one, Geno Smith or Dak Prescott?
Geno.
Barely or considerably?
No, it's close. I think Geno... He doesn't. Okay, when Dak starts messing up, you could clearly see it gets in his head, and he shuts down as a quarterback.
I got one more.
Geno is able to rebound. I think the mental toughness there.
Sam Darnold or Dak Prescott?
That's where I was scared we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Dak because I don't believe Sam Darnold's last year was real yet.
I don't believe it was real either, even though I love you, Sam Darnold.
But I'm hoping it was. Like I'm rooting. I want to be wrong anytime. About this take. Yeah. Please, I want to be wrong. I want Sam Darnold over Dak.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love the Dallas Cowboys now because they're just so like ignorant and like so like into themselves.
Ownership wise,
correct.
Yes, that
not
qualifier
the fans,
there. Not the fans. Jerry specifically.
Yes, like they're so like headstrong about never changing that at this point, as like an outside observer, it's kind of beautiful to watch.
How do we feel about rookie head coach Schottenheimer?
I think it's going to be a disaster, and we're gonna get in the question of the day after we talk about the New York Football Giants, the last team in this division. I don't have too much to talk about except for this is the best quarterback battle in the world, maybe ever devised ever. We're talking about Russell Wilson, a guy I absolutely hate, who's completely washed, but still has a little bit of football in him.
He has a rainbow ball still. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's end of sentence.
You got Jameis Winston, who's every football fan's favorite player to watch until they realize he might not be that much fun to watch.
I don't care if he's fun to watch or not. He is one of the greatest human beings I've ever seen a microphone put in front of his face. Like, he makes me smile every time.
And then you got the rookie Jackson Dart, who was traded up to come and get with the 25th pick in the draft.
Don't forget the fourth quarterback in the room.
DeVito?
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, he's not making the roster.
Hey, there's hope. This Hard Knocks is going to be amazing.
Am I wrong to think that no matter what combination of quarterback you put on that field, that team isn't going to win more than 7 games?
I have them going at 6 wins right now, which is 3 more than their last. So I think that this team does see improvement than last year.
Yeah.
In their last 18, I think it all depends on left tackle Andrew Thomas.
I think he's not going to be great.
In their last 18 games without him, they are 3-15.
Yeah.
Like, this team kind of depends on him. He's being argued as the best left tackle in football, right? Or the most valuable left tackle in football right now.
I didn't mean he's not going to be great. He's a good football player. I just don't think it's a great situation there. I do love Brian Daboll, but I think that GM is stinky McStinky pants.
I think their OC is pretty good. Mike Kafka.
Well, Brian Daboll's going to call the plays though.
I want Kafka to get take over. He was scouted by Andy Reid. He was Kafka was a finalist for the Saints head coaching position.
I mean, they give it a kill.
There's upside,
but yeah.
And then on top of that, their first four games of the season.
Where?
Commanders,
Okay.
Cowboys,
Bad.
Chiefs,
Yeah.
Chargers.
Those are probably all losses.
Jackson Dart starting week 5.
Or Jameis. Or maybe no one makes it to week 5. Maybe by week 5 they're like, we're running Wildcat.
Week 5 they're pulling fans.
I love it.
I want to see that so bad.
We're gonna get a Tommy Cutlets game.
Right, like with a schedule like that, they're just going to start rotating guys in.
I have their ceiling 7-10, their floor 2-15. I do think they land more around the 4-win team situation.
I have them at 6, but 4 to 5 feels like this team will improve based on last year.
Yeah, I mean they weren't great last year. They had 4 wins last year. I don't think they're going to be that much better this year.
No, but we are going to see improvement. They still have one of the most talented D lines in the league, 100%. Their secondary looks better. Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland.
Paulson Adebo. I love Javon Holland.
So like they're making.
I think their defense is going to be good.
Their defense will be good, which will keep them in games. Neighbors is a beast.
I just hate their offense.
I just don't like their quarterback situation.
I don't. I like Neighbors a lot. He's elite, but like I don't love Tony. Like I don't think their running backs are anything to be like, wow, this is a really good team.
No, but they have pieces where give it a year and they can add a lot more. They just need to show that the defense is still top tier. You can keep everyone healthy, keep Neighbors healthy for goodness sakes.
He can't.
And no, if you keep that core together, you can figure the rest out.
He is the offense. What they did with Saquon Barkley the last 5 years is what they're going to do with Malik Neighbors now. They're going to run everything through him. It's going to be piss poor offense, and they're going to burn him out, and then they're going to have to send him somewhere. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I hope they've learned their lesson.
I hope so too, but
we'll see.
Yeah. Let's get into the question of the day. It's going to stay in the NFL. Don, I wanted to put you on the spot.
Okay.
There's always someone that gets fired before the season ends. What is your head coach prediction to be head on the stick by week 9? Like, who are we seeing and we're being like, yep, they're fired? I'm going to give you mine first to give you a little bit of time to think.
Okay.
I was looking through the rosters, and I was like, what's a team that needs to win now? And what happens when they're not winning? Mike McDaniels feels like the perfect candidate. This is a Dolphins team that's made a lot of moves these past few weeks that don't really make sense to me.
They're shedding payroll.
They have a lot of pressure on them. They're at the point now where is this the 2 a year? Like, what are we doing? Devon A-Chain, we need him to take the next step up. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, we need these guys to perform. We just paid them. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to end up around the 3-7 mark. They're going to be at week 10. They're going to be like, you know what? It's not working with Mike McDaniels. Yeah. And then he's gone. That's my guy to be fired first. That's my prediction.
No, that one feels very strong to me. The other one I would say is over in Jacksonville.
You think they fire him first year? Brian Callahan?
Callahan, yeah. Where's Duval?
Yeah, Duval.
I just don't know. If he doesn't feel like a long-term signing, he does feel like a guy just a one-year rental. Like he doesn't have the personality to kind of bring the troops together. He doesn't seem like a locker room leader. I'd be surprised if they could turn it around, but I don't see Trevor Lawrence doing a whole lot with this roster. There's not a lot of big upside in Jacksonville at the moment.
I think your head's in the right direction. Different team in the division.
The Titans are the easy answer. I'm not trying to take the bunt.
I think the Colts are the answer. I think if Shane Steichen and the Colts don't, I think if they lose week 1, that's 11 years in a row. And I think if by week 10 we're sitting there and the Colts are not even in that like little section where they like to be, where they're like around 500, where they're actually just bad because Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones turn out both are not good quarterbacks. I think it's full shed. I think that entire franchise gets reset.
Yeah, that would be the ideal. I just don't know if they do that the year of Jim Irsay passing.
I don't know either.
Yeah, that's the only thing that made me hesitant to go that way.
Card, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that wild card in the ether. Normal season, I would agree.
Probably. Let's get into the pick of the week. Don, what is your pick of the week?
Hear me out here.
I hear you.
So, Love Island is coming to a season finale soon.
Never mind, I don't hear you.
No, I don't either.
I got you.
I saw the odds and a lot of bettors discussing this in some of the conversations I've been in. Mm-hmm. And
what conversations have you been in where it's Love Island gambling odds?
You have never done a Bachelorette League, have you?
I have not. I have not done a Bachelorette League. I forget the
Fantasy Bachelorette is a thing.
Betting on people falling in love feels like the next step for me.
Now that you put it that way, it makes me feel gross. Yeah, thanks for that.
Anyway, make the pick.
So, previous odds leader Sierra Ortega just got into a huge scandal. Apparently, the old video surfaced of her saying some racially insensitive things.
Oh, no, not Sierra.
Not Sierra. So current odds leader, Amaya, is currently sitting at plus 136 at the moment. Mm-hmm. Fan votes over the last couple weeks have been consistently putting her at number one, even though they have not given her minus odds or shifted any odds for her to be the number one overall. She has the advantage of showing up later into this season, which a lot of fans have discussed is arguably one of the worst seasons of Love Island, one of the most dull, boring ones.
But it's like their highest rated season.
It is. They brought her in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Immediately, her social media blew up to over 1 million followers within a week of her being there. Uh-huh. She is known as the most charismatic female on the island right now. Easily, has taken over the fandom. You could still get her at plus odds.
What's the odds right now?
Plus 136.
Pretty good.
That's not bad. I am hedging a little bit with who's been fan vote wise consistently number two. Iris Kendall, just because she's been number two for the entire time. She didn't get a huge step up when Sierra went down and kind of just saw the top flip around her.
You're speaking
plus 680.
A different language. It might as well be Gaelic, what you're saying to me. Not
Probably.
that I don't like Love Island or reality shows.
I'm not a reality show guy, but
I'm more than you, but this is very impressive.
But if to me, her odds have been consistently growing higher as the fan votes have not moved.
Have you not been able to escape Love Island? Is that it?
I
have not been able.
This is my first. This last week and a half is finally where this season has hit me.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, all right, we're doing a deep dive. I don't care about the reality show side. Where's the money?
I have my pick of the week. It's the LA Galaxy. They are matching up against the DC Defenders. Look, I know the LA Galaxy they've been bad. They've been bad this year, but they're getting back to speed. They're getting healthy again. And I'm going to take the -1 for plus 105 odds against DC Defenders, a not great team in the league. It's MLS MLS soccer. Crazy. It's the dog days of July. Right now, we're just looking for anything to bet on that has any sparkle in our eyes.
Yeah, we're a little late on Wimbledon because that started earlier in the week. There are some good matchups going into this weekend, but just due to not knowing what's going to be out further than basically Thursday morning, it's kind of hard to make a pick on this in this style.
Don't worry about it. Episode 71, I'll be betting on preseason football like the best of them. So we're almost there. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. Go follow us on all social platforms, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It means a lot. My name is Dio. That is Don. And remember, pray for the parlay.